Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of Trades Talk as we commemorate uh, Remembrance Day, or if you're in the U.S., it's Veterans Day, sometimes referred to as Armistice Day, because it started way back during the end of the First World War in 1918 on November 11th at 11 a.m. The treaty was signed, and finally World War I had ended. And everyone called it the Great War, and it was the war to end all wars, but we all know that didn't last, unfortunately. But yes, welcome in. My name is Pop, and we're going to just take a little bit of a different route today. We're going to look into some of the industrial advances that were made during the war, and we'll see what was going on in the trades during that time from what limited resources I could find. So you have to bear with me as some of them are just, they're all in black and white, but we do have some clips about what was going on the home front in industry. Before I get to that, though, I want to say hello to you, David Glenn. Nice to see you. And Fabric Fold. Hey, you made it on time for a change. You're so tired of your butthole beating your back heel. Yes. Well, sit back and relax, and let's take a different approach to what we usually do. Usually, I go over the news of the week and such, but never mind. We won't do that. We're not going to take a look at the news of the week. It just gets me too upset. Now is a time to reflect and see what things were like. A lot of people, a lot of younger generation don't understand what things were like back then. They don't have any clue how difficult things were, and they wouldn't know what to do if they had to go back and try to live then. So as I was looking through a lot of the resources I used, I looked at the National Film Board of Canada because they were making films during that time period, World War II. I also looked up the Internet Archive. It had a lot of good films from then. And also my own government website had a few things. So let's have a look at that first. We'll just click on this here. There we go. So they have a section on the historical sheets and all that about Remembrance Day. Hello, Salver. How you doing? We're doing a little bit different today. We're having a little bit of commemorating of Remembrance Day. Let's see here. So, science and technology in the Second World War. The Second World War was a conflict that saw a great deal of scientific and technical innovation. The war was a battle of scientific minds as well as of bullets and bombs, and the wartime research programs came up with many important developments to help give the Allies an advantage in the struggle. As with many other aspects of the Allied war effort, Canada played an important role. Much of the research found civilian uses after the war and has helped shape today's modern world. Whether you heat food in a microwave oven or use washer fluid to clear off a car windshield, to name just two examples, you can credit the groundbreaking work done by Canadian scientists during the Second World War. And yeah, just because, Hollywood and such like that, yeah, it's going to be more American-centric. There was a lot of good things done by Canada, and I'm very happy that we were allies during that time, and we sure helped each other out. And I think we should still try to keep those bonds tight between Canada and the U.S. It's a good thing. We shouldn't try to get split apart by people that would cause trouble. Research and development. Canada was a great center of wartime research. The National Research Council and Armed Forces and various crown corporations undertook research in weapons, atomic energy, radar, nutrition, medicine, and other areas which both helped win the battle and improve the life and well-being of people in the years that followed. Extensive research on magnetism was conducted to learn how to degauss or demagnetize the hulls of ships to protect them from some types of mines and to detect submerged submarines. This research would pay dividends after the war as a means to detect bodies of ore from the air for mining purposes. The Canadian Anti-Acoustic Torpedo, or CAT gear, was developed as a countermeasure to enemy acoustic torpedoes. This invention is credited with saving many ships from torpedo attacks. Well, there you go. That's good. The technique of cathodic protection of ships' hulls against saltwater corrosion, a technology that is still in use today and has saved millions of dollars in ship damage, developed from work done in Canada during the war. And we use cathodic protection on pipelines as well. So yes, it's still used today. Anti-fog windshield fluids developed for service vehicles were a Canadian invention. I did not know that. The first patent for artificial fur arose out of Canadian work in developing improved Arctic clothing for the military. Canadian companies and scientists played a leading role in the development of synthetic rubber. Although a completely synthetic rubber was still not developed by war's end, a fully satisfactory product was in production that was 90% made from wheat derivatives. Okay, that's something I didn't know. World War II, the original Minecraft. Yeah, you're gathering stuff and making it, aren't you? A technique developed by prolific Canadian scientist and inventor George Klein provided a means of testing and quantifying snow conditions. He also developed aiming systems for artillery and anti-submarine mortars and carried out research on high-velocity projectiles and their fuses. As well, he developed an anti-roll stabilizer for an anti-submarine weapon. Nuclear energy research initiated in Montreal led to the development of the Chalk River atomic energy facilities and the eventual development of the CANDU nuclear power generator by the Atomic Energy Commission. Ionospheric sounding stations installed during the war to help predict optimum frequencies for long-distance communications and for direction finding against enemy submarines led directly to the development after the war of the Alouette satellite, Canada's entry into satellite technology. Okay. Radar? Are we watching MASH? Hey, Godzilla, how you doing? No, but we will probably mention Korea as one of the conflicts between nations. Let's see. The National Research Council pioneered the use of nylon for parachutes. Okay. Electrothermal de-icers for aircraft propellers were developed by Canadian scientists, an invention to improve the safety of air travel that is still in use today. In response to food shortages in Britain, the National Research Council developed a successful process to manufacture better powdered eggs, powdered milk, and preserved bacon. These helped solve some of the problems of food transportation and led to the development of some of the powdered and condensed foods still in use today. I mean, it'll get you by in a pinch. You sure don't want to make it a regular part of your diet. Radar. During the war's early years, Britain essentially passed all microwave radar development over to Canada. Canadian scientists developed the Plan Position Indicator, still in use today. Canada provided some 9,000 radar sets worth hundreds of millions of dollars to the Allies. At one stage of the war, the National Research Council built and installed submarine detection radar in the St. Lawrence River in just 7 days. Is this the Blame Canada war stream? Blame Canada for war? No, come on now. Now you know who to blame for powdered milk? Uh-oh. We don't want to start another one. Another war, that is. Early on, Canada had established specialized electronics training initiatives to meet the need for skilled scientists and technicians that forward-thinking leaders realized the new technologically oriented war would demand. As a result, our country produced a large number of people skilled in electronics during the war, people who helped meet the great need in Britain for electronics technicians. Indeed, many of the radar personnel who worked on large British warships were Canadian. We've also got some medical developments. Canadian researchers carried out studies on seasickness and motion sickness. The research led to the development of drugs to help cope with these ailments. Important contributions were made to the development and improvement in production of penicillin. Canadian scientists overcame the problems which had stood in the way of mass production of the life-saving drug. Blood serum in great demand to help the large number of people injured in the war was made available as a result of work done by Dr. C.H. Best of the University of Toronto. The Banting Institute also built the first decompression chamber in North America, built a human centrifuge, invented the anti-G suit, which is still used by pilots in high-performance aircraft, made improvements to aircrew equipment like oxygen masks, and conducted research into the effects of fatigue and cold. Research on night vision led to red lighting being adopted by the Royal Canadian Navy, the Royal Navy, and for some aircraft with the United States Navy. It's interesting to note that many of the Canadians who made such important contributions to the scientific war effort were generally quite young. In 1944 and 45, the 300 National Research Council staff who were working on radar research had an average age of about 26. It is evident that Canadian youth, when they put their minds to it, can work wonders. Remembering and reflecting on the significance of the many contributions Canadians made, including those who participated in wartime research, scientific research during World War II, is important. The research and discoveries made during this pivotal time in history still live on much of the technology we use today. So there's a few things that they came up with. They were probably just working like crazy. You're going to come up with just about any idea you can during this time, that's for sure. You're going to be desperate because, the war started in 1939. It went on until 45, so that's 6 years. And you're just supplying soldiers and losing them like crazy. So anyway, let's move along to the National Film Board of Canada. They have a nice layout, and you type in things like Industrial World War, and it comes up with a lot. So we have one here. This is a short, it says propaganda documentary, drives home the point that steel and committed steel workers can make the difference. So let's have a look at this. Okay, let's see if can you guys hear that? Okay, good. Right off the bat, working on a lathe, it looks like. I need to turn it down a bit. Is it too much for you guys? It's okay.
As Canada prepares to meet total war,
So punch clocks.
a new army enters the battle line. The army of industrial workers fighting on the front of steel. Key figures in the nation's war effort today are Joe Gilchuck, welder, Jim McLaren, foundryman, Matt Johnson, sheet metal worker, and thousands like them.
Yes, it is
Never
Lorne
was
Green.
the skill
I'm
of the
pretty sure it
Canadian
is.
worker more vital than now. For the story of this war is the
So using flat belts. You guys see that? The
key figures in the nation's war effort today are Joe
welders,
Gilchuck,
like I
welder,
tell you guys.
Jim McLaren, foundryman, Matt Johnson, sheet
Go
metal
back.
worker.
It usually is Lorne Green, especially if it's done by the CBC. It's Columbia Pictures of Canada, though. Yeah, it's Lorne Green, all right. He's the OG of Battlestar Galactica. Yep. He played Adama. You betcha, Godzillionaire. So it is Lorne Green. You can usually tell he's got that deep voice.
As Canada prepares to meet total war, a new army enters the battle line. The army of industrial workers fighting
Ben Cartwright,
on the front
wasn't
of steel. Key figures in the nation's war effort today are Joe Gilchuck, welder,
Got the welders,
Jim
yep.
McLaren, foundryman, Matt Johnson, sheet metal worker, and thousands like them. Never
Look
was
at
the
that.
skill
Look at that. Flat belts. And those things are just flying there. No guards, right?
of the Canadian
You don't
worker
need a
more
guard.
vital than now. For the story of this war is the story of a revolutionary change from manpower to machine power.
Looks like they're
a
cutting
change
forming
dictated
sheet
by
metal.
one man, Adolf Hitler.
Oh,
In
this
Berlin,
guy.
on April 20th, 1938, 50th birthday of Germany's Führer, the world has a first glimpse of the new machine methods of waging war. Before its leader rolls an army forged in terms of 20th century mechanical science, an army whose whole striking power is based on the internal combustion engine. And as the armored divisions
Even
thunder
Navy
by,
crews, nope,
the
gotcha,
world
yeah.
sees in
Nothing
rehearsal
like
the
that.
actual battle order in which these monsters of destruction are to be employed. First come heavy breakthrough tanks to drive through the opponent's lines, smash a path past barriers and traps.
Not too loud, is it, you guys?
In their
Yeah.
wake comes
Stick your
squadron
hand in
after
those
squadron of
machines.
assault tanks
Just
designed
don't.
to scatter opposition, mop up pillboxes, play havoc with communications.
Nope, nothing. No serpentine. Not even V-belts, dude.
Behind again.
Hey,
come
Veritex, how you
motorized
doing?
truck
Thanks for
troops to
sending me
hold the
that
breaches
funny,
in the lines made by the tanks
funny
ahead.
picture on Twitch or Twitter.
Last in this revolutionary battle order
I got a
marks
good
the
laugh at that.
infantry. But even here lies surprise, for among the iron-jawed veterans appear troops in a strange uniform, parachute harness. And while the tools of Blitzkrieg rumble past, overhead drones a new artillery, Stuka dive bombers, more accurate than any howitzer. Significant
Failed
of this
Austrian
German
painter was a
will to
bad dude,
power
but holy
is
crap,
the
it's
story of the
yeah,
creation
yeah,
of the
yeah.
Nazi war
Yeah,
machine through 6
yeah.
intensive years of effort.
Yes, that's Austrian painter. He's no good.
When Adolf Hitler, demagogue and warlord, first became Führer, a world at peace told itself that a bankrupt Germany could never fulfill the Nazi dream of conquest.
I'm not even
But in
monetized B-17. It doesn't matter.
A new word came into the
So,
German language.
don't worry about getting
Wehrwirtschaft,
demonetized.
The organization of life for war. The family was the unit of the new war economy, and on the German family, the Nazis clamped down a rigid regime of self-sacrifice. A weekly one-dish meal was henceforth the lot of Fritz Lohmann and his children. For young
Yes.
Hans, as for his sister, uniforms replaced nourishing foods, for the Führer had decreed self-denial. Nightly, free to save the table scraps to feed Nazi pigs, treasured up coffee dregs and even human hair to put Deutschland über alles. Every month, a curt rap on the door announced the stormtrooper collecting compulsory contributions of money and food, and woe betide those who had no mite for the box.
You're Jewish, you ain't giving that credit, but holy, his art was pretty good. I don't know. I haven't looked at his art.
Grafted into the Hitler Youth at 14, the rising generation was drilled in the doctrine of what they called strength through joy. In gliding clubs across the land, the German boy became the material from which the Air Force selected pilots for its warplanes. And into his ears poured a stream of propaganda. Lebensraum, Germany must expand. In the compulsory labor service decreed for every lad of 18, a new economic system was born. A system that replaced money values by
When
the
did the
sweat and
stormtrooper get
sacrifice
wiped?
of
That,
human
not until
beings.
1977. This is it is propaganda,
Small
Veritex, but
wonder
it's
that
to show
factories
the
throughout the Reich
industries.
hummed with war production. A nation had chosen guns instead of butter. A nation had eliminated waste. A nation had organized itself to the highest pitch of efficiency for power. The impossible had been achieved. The dreadful day of Blitzkrieg dawned.
Holy, that guy just hoisted that bomb up like it was nothing. Lebensraum literally means living space. Yes. Troopers, paratroopers. But you see all the work that went into that. Like you're gonna need silk for your parachute. You're gonna need steel for your airplanes, and everything else, all the bombs and guns and everything like that. Lots of mining, smelting.
Through Poland, through Holland, through Belgium sped the German war machine. Its every operation timed, its every movement rehearsed.
This was to
1,000
get everybody
times
worried.
before.
And they should. They were people over here, right? to get everybody all worried that they're going to just make Europe their entire fortress, just take it over. Jeez. Fun fact, ammo belt for a fighter plane is exactly 9 yards long. The phrase give them the whole 9 yards. I knew that, Fabric. I knew that. It says the steel pincers closed round Flanders. Britain took a step unprecedented in democratic history. Every man and woman, every national asset became the property of the state in a gigantic drive for organized efficiency. You thought that came from the pawn? Oh, Godzillionaire. You silly guy, you.
From the fearful devastation across the Channel, Britain drew this lesson. In the war of machines, only national organization can answer regimented efficiency. Every worker in mine and factory and office must give his total energy and his total skill.
Everybody's
working.
A
moment lost behind the lines is a life lost in the mechanized inferno of the fighting front. Overnight, the British tradition of muddling through vanished
love that
forever.
Fighter planes used to actually shoot off their own propellers when they were first. Yes, they had to time it with the gun. I think they attached it to the crankshaft.
Today, Canada's slogan is the same. In Ottawa, new buildings rise up, buildings to house departments charged with this special task, to create on Canadian soil a front of steel mightier than Hitler's own. Today, in 100 towns and cities, Canadians...
There you go. Big steel mill. I'm pretty sure that's what that is.
...see the smoke of modern war in the making, but few have any inkling of the miracles of skill performed by the craftsmen of Canada within the white heat of industry. From this world of mechanical precision comes a weapon symbolic of automatic warfare, the Bren gun. It is light to carry, simple to use, but its manufacture is one of the most complex industrial processes.
It takes still the
6
same
months
story.
to train a man's eye to test the alignment of a barrel. More than 2,800 separate operations go to the making of a single gun, and before ever the weapon comes off the assembly bench, 18,000 tools and jigs must have done their work to the accuracy of a split hair. So Canada plays her part in raising the firepower of each field unit to 20 times that of the last war. In the tumult of a Montreal shipyard, the hulls of Canadian submarine chasers take shape. Speed is essential to these death-dealing ships, and to save weight, the steel plates of their hulls can be no more than 3/8 of an inch thick. On this...
Ooh, 3/8 of an inch thick. That's, Does watching a film like this make me sad with how Canada is today? Yes. Yes, it does. I look back at these guys and I'm like, there's real men right there. You can smell those blueprints from here. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's, I weep for how the youth of today is. I really do.
This job, therefore,
it's every
all the
Canadian's first
experience
word
of Louis Gagnon, master riveter, is called
French.
upon. For in the stress of storm
there we go.
battle,
Hey, rivets.
a
Hot
few
rivet.
faulty rivets may prove as fatal as a torpedo. But the long tradition of the Canadian shipyards assures that there will be no failure. And so down the ways...
No earplugs for those riveter
50 in the first
either.
year alone.
I don't know if that's a Corvette or
From
not.
assembly lines throughout Canada come trucks and armored vehicles, the ball bearings at which modern war runs, tractors to haul guns and engineering equipment, transports for troops and supplies.
Thanks to Henry Ford for the assembly line.
The wounded to base hospitals. Specially designed are these engines and chassis to travel over tough country, for none can tell where they may be called upon to serve. Gone in these automotive plants is the old spirit of rivalry. In the cause of national efficiency, every blueprint has been standardized, every part made interchangeable from factory to factory.
Every part made interchangeable. You don't see that anymore. It's all planned to not be able to be compatible with anything else. It's all proprietary.
24 hours a day they roll off the lines to face grueling tests before they leave for active service. behind it all are the eyes of science, testing, checking, planning the future. In this National Research Council laboratory,
Remind you to plug
X-rays
your
are
nose when
applied
your nose
to
up to
aero
weld.
engine castings. For X-ray photographs,
You'll be
reveal
using
flaws in
a
steel just as surely
respirator.
as in human limbs. In this way, the lives of plane crews are daily saved before ever they take off for battle. And so, today, in the supply trains thundering to the coast, the people of Canada see promise of victory. These are their weapons. Weapons for England to ward off invasion. Weapons for the defense of Canada's own shores.
We need that. We needed that because U-boats were coming like right up to like New York Harbor and St. Lawrence Seaway. So they at the very beginning of the war, they were just could do whatever they wanted. That Wolfpack, they could just come and go.
They draw new strength from the calm efficiency of the soldiers in
And they were taking down convoys like crazy.
On the front of steel.
There you go. That's the front of steel. Yeah, X-rays, no protection. Yup. Yup. There's some more I'll have to look through here. There's even one on the War of 1812. I've got some other ones I got off of the Internet Archive, which aren't on this website. What did I have? Nope, not there. I don't know if I'll get dinged for this, but we'll see. Didn't a fishing fleet off Newfoundland accidentally capture a U-boat by netting it? I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that. You're both relieved by the fact that your nose won't be obliterated, but also disappointed because blueprints just look cool. They can get pretty technical depending on what they're a blueprint of. You guys can hear that okay? The Signal Corps, produced by the United States Signal Corps. You need to watch The Wind Rises. It's a Miyazaki film about Japan developing its first fighter planes. Oh, okay. That's a good one, Godzillionaire.
Once again, America watches its ramparts. Come what may, the guns are manned. The battle wagons wait. The sky patrols are on the alert. And once again, fighting men stand ready to carry on America's oldest military tradition, to attack the forces that threaten us.
You hear that? It's fighting men, not fighting women. You don't send the people who can bear children to go and fight and get killed. It's always the men that go to war, and that's how it should be. You shouldn't send women off to war. You shouldn't send the ones that can bear children to die. It's just stupid.
All the men and all the equipment, we can hurl against them. That has always been our prime
Howard Hughes.
strategic
I don't.
principle, to attack the enemy
he didn't.
whenever and wherever we find him. In all our wars,
It was the Spruce
no matter
Moose.
how heavy the odds against them, American soldiers were struck often and struck hard. Each era has seen them fight with new weapons, but always with an unconquerable
Unless they're
spirit,
really butch.
which in the end achieved victory. In 1776, we won the right to be a nation with shot, powder, flintlock, and guts. As America grew, the weapons of war became less primitive, more difficult to make and operate.
Okay, they're shooting like chain links.
1948, swift striking cavalry units gave our army power and mobility. The more effective it became, the more it depended on supplies hauled from shops and factories far behind the front. During the Civil War, we put steel over our engines on land and sea. We took to the air. In 1898, we perfected the use of the repeating machine gun. Then in 1918, war came of age.
Barrage
Today,
balloons?
the American soldier is part of a vast, complex organization composed of many arms. The infantry...
Yeah, this is the arm behind the army, and I'm not sure if it's like going to deal with anything
The cavalry,
industry.
field artillery, coast artillery, air corps, engineers, signal corps, armored force, and many services.
Maxim.
This is your army. Uncle Sam's fist, swinging
It's a
that fist
Napoleon
with pile-driving
6-pounder.
force, is the arm behind the army. Uncle Sam's
She
muscle.
leaves you for another senator to war for the
American industry.
Here it is,
Responsible for
industry.
mobilizing its vast resources for the needs of the Army are Under Secretary of War Robert Patterson and Lieutenant General Brian B. Somerville, Chief of the Service of Supply. Behind the desks, behind the drawing boards, behind the benches, on the assembly lines, American industry is
Those are-
making
yeah,
the
that look like
greatest
plane
production
engines.
effort in history to supply our Army with ever-increasing quantities of the weapons of war. Soldier for soldier, our fighting men can match anything the Axis sends against them. And worker for worker, American industry is determined to meet the Axis challenge in the production plants. Management and labor alike stand solidly behind us. They know their stake in this conflict. They know the grim fate of free enterprise and free labor in the path of Axis conquest. Vienna. The world-famous workers' tenements. Symbol of Nazi-inspired dissension between Austrian working men and Austrian industrialists. Soon after,
Uh-oh.
Czechoslovakia. Symbol of Nazi...
In the 1940s, a proper manufacturing drawing needs a coffee stain and cigarette.
Inspired dissension
Yep.
between allies sworn to defend it. The Skoda Munitions Works, symbol of industry compelled to forge the means of its own enslavement. Soon after, labor permit. The Nazis exercise complete control over who works and who starves. Labor restrictions. The Nazis degrade working men because they know that free labor, working in free industry, can never be shackled to the Axis dream of world conquest. Poland. Labor and industry know that the Nazi occupation of Poland means economic ruin. It means labor gangs. It means slavery for hundreds of thousands of Poles kidnapped by their conquerors to work in shops and factories. There are 4.5 million foreign workers in Germany today who are forced to produce weapons to fight the nations that seek to liberate them. It means terror.
You know, something happened to that guy's face. Oof.
Starvation. Justice. Nazi justice. Holland.
And a strong weakness, specifically a wet brown paper bag. Yeah.
This was once the heart of Rotterdam's business section. France. While German tanks thundered across its fields, much of French industry lay idle, unaware of the mortal danger to its institutions if the French army fell.
They thought the Maginot Line was going to help them, but the Germans just went right around it. They're like, oh, you got this big wall and
Negotiations which
thing
might
to
never
protect
have
us.
taken
Well, we're
place
just going to
if
drive
France had
around
been
it.
united and prepared. Now French industry works for the Axis. Old age pensions,
Okay.
group insurance, workmen's compensation, all the benefits that labor has won in every decent, highly industrialized nation. None of these benefits ever belong to the workers of Germany's new henchman, Japan. Japan, where living standards are pitifully low, but where millions are poured into modern factories to carry on the policy of their treacherous warlords. Japan, who for 10 years has ravaged and pillaged the gallant people of China. Japan,
That's good they brought that up.
cried peace. Pearl Harbor. The brunt of the cowardly blow struck at Pearl Harbor was borne by the Army and Navy. But all over the United States, men and women in American industry knew it was a blow aimed at their lives.
They're just lucky that
their pursuit
the
of
carriers
happiness.
weren't at Pearl Harbor.
They accepted the challenge. They are tackling the biggest job in history to outproduce the
French,
Axis.
right? Or
Can
you mean
they?
the Vichy government?
Economists say the natural resources of the United Nations are greater. But the capacity of the Axis to turn what resources they have into weapons of war
Yes,
is
that's
tremendous.
right. The Vichy
They have the
government.
mighty Krupp munitions works. We have
And
Birmingham.
you dropped the sun on them twice. Yeah,
They
we
have
did. You
Skoda.
sure did, Fabric. Yep.
We have Delaware. They have factories
You went
like
to
this
Pearl
in
Harbor
occupied
3 Roads.
France.
It's heavy. I
England
wanted to
has
go
figures.
there, Dudley,
They
when I
seized
went
the
to
steel
Hawaii
mills
in
of Luxembourg.
2018
We have Pittsburgh.
or 2017.
They have
One of
great
those years I
factories
went
to turn out high
to
messerschmitts,
Hawaii, but I didn't
Dorniers.
get a chance to
We
look
turn
over
out
there.
flying Fortresses, P-38s, P-40s, Aerocobras, Tomahawks, many others.
We also had
Romanian
the
oil
British
drives
air
their
training
planes and
program
tanks.
here in Canada,
Oil
which
from
we
the
trained
fields of
pilots to go
Oklahoma,
over
Texas, and
to
California will
Britain.
drive our planes and
So
tanks.
all over the
All
Commonwealth,
around the production
Australian
line,
pilots,
plant
New
for
Zealand,
plant, the Axis
they would all
and
come
the
to Canada
United
to
Nations
view the
stand
training
locked in battle.
on the planes and
It
then
will
head
be
over
the
to
sweat
Britain.
of workers that tips the beam. The sweat of American workers who will give you men tanks
Last year, and the
planes
level
and
of
guns
disrespect you
to
saw at the
fight
Arizona
for our free
Memorial.
and
Oh, that's
democratic
disgusting.
world.
You don't
A gun.
disrespect that.
Every 26 minutes.
The most
tank
vicious weapon
every
nuclear weapons
12
ever
minutes.
invented in World War II was the law.
A plane every 9 minutes.
Settle down, Fabric.
Competing against men who often work at the point
Yeah,
of
it
a
would be
gun,
appalling. Yep,
who
you
must
bet it would be.
produce
He
or
said.
else free American industry is pledged
World
itself
War
to
Weed.
deliver those tanks and planes and guns on time,
Look at that.
ahead of time.
The sheer amount of material, the mind just can't grasp how
This
much
war is industry's
material
war. It is labor's war.
and
They
goods were
realize that
sent.
defeat
It's
means
just
the unconditional and
unbelievable.
permanent surrender of all they are or hope to be. No sacrifice now will be too great for them, because sacrifice now will ensure final victory, ours and theirs. When we win, they win. A telegram from the Army, a message from the fight to the factory. 7 dive bombers escorted by fighter planes swarmed down an enemy fleet and seriously damaged Jap cruiser. Credit for this operation must be shared by you men and women who made these planes. Signed, Lovett, Assistant Secretary of War for Air. Large Japanese convoy escorted by Jap destroyers hurled back by American-made.
Well, that's good. They were sending letters back to the factories to show them, like, hey, you're making a difference. The stuff that you guys built is helping us win the war. I mean, that's great. They do stuff like that. It shows that the guys out in industry or working at the factories aren't forgotten
Big
about.
guns. Their power and deadly accuracy are a testimonial to the skill and effort of you workers. Congratulations. Signed, Stimson, Secretary of War.
Oh yeah, I've heard of
American
Stimson.
28-ton tanks enthusiastically cheered by our allies. Keep up the good work. Signed, Patterson, Under Secretary of War. Wherever American soldiers fight, the arm behind the Army fights with them. We will win our battles on the firing line because they will win their battles on the production line. They're fighting beside us
It was
now.
all out production, for
Together,
sure.
we will smash ahead.
I don't think any
To
plant
victory.
stopped. It was all 24/7, all the time. So there you go. There's the arm behind the Army. You think in Ukraine the industrial workers are signing the artillery shells and whatever else they produce with names or stupid one-liners? Probably. Here's another one I found from the U.S. Department of War. I didn't think they called it that anymore, but it's an actual government website. Show us the leg now. The leggy. Which leggy? So yes, during World War II, industries transitioned from peacetime to wartime production. Trump renamed it Department of War a few months ago. Trump changed it. Oh, I did not know that. Defense sounds too weak. Okay, so changed it back to Department of War because that's what it used to be. Thanks for the update, guys. I had no idea. Prior to World War II, factories in the United States were turning out automobiles, large and small appliances, and children's toys. In January 1942, a mere month after the attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, President Franklin D. Roosevelt ordered the establishment of the War Production Board. And as we can see, there's even a tag on here. The machine conforms to the orders of the War Production Board. How fitting, considering this country has been at war for 80% of its lifetime. Show us how Japanese kept abreast of the war through anime. Strike witches. What about the girls und Panzer? That was the original name, was the Department of War. It used to be the Secretary of War, not Secretary of Defense. Yes, that's 100% Veritax. Its purpose was to convert the factories of peacetime industries into manufacturing plants for weapons and military equipment for the fight. The second goal was to conserve materials like metal, which soldiers, sailors, and Marines would need for the fight in such things as guns, ordnance, tanks, ships, aircraft, tactical vehicles, and so on. Other items considered essential for war included petroleum products, rubber, paper, and plastic. That meant strict rationing for civilians, such as limiting vehicle usage and the purchase of luxury items. The War Production Board lasted until just after the end of World War II in October 1945. FDR, we must fight the socialists by adopting a bunch of socialist practices. That's for sure. Yeah. It's all financed with the special variant of friendship is magic called War Bond. That's right. And as you can see the poster here, old little Uncle Sam, tin salvage station for empty collapsible metal tubes. I need the tin in your empty toothpaste and shave cream tubes. Bring them in. This tin will be allocated by the War Production Board. Besides churning industries around to wartime production, U.S. industries also supplied much of the military equipment needed by the Allies, including the United Kingdom and the Soviet Union. To illustrate the magnitude of this transition to wartime production, there were about 3 million automobiles manufactured in the U.S. in 1941. During the entire war, only 139 additional cars rolled off the assembly lines. Yeah, so really scaled back. Nobody's going to be able to buy a car anyway, so you shouldn't... you're not going to buy one. Instead, automakers built guns, trucks, tanks, and aircraft engines. Using a lathe, such as this one, belt-driven lathe. Girls und Panzer, who needs those Teutonic twats? We have the high ground. FDR is the one that put in the Gold Confiscation Act that didn't let private citizens own much gold. Here's your worthless fiat currency, pleb. That was done in 1933. I've looked that up, Godzillionaire. That's exactly what he did. Executive order. He's like, no, bring it in. And then as soon as everyone brought in their gold, they revalued it. So it was whatever, $25 an ounce. And then people brought it in. And as soon as they brought in enough, they're like, okay, now gold is $33 an ounce. So the reevaluation, that was pretty dirty. You think Fabric gone Delulu? No, it's just him. It's usually how Fabric is. Then Nixon told, yes, that happened, I believe, in 1971, where he closed the gold window, as it was such it was. He took the US dollar off the gold standard, which allowed unlimited printing then, and it became known as the petrodollar, because the world had to do their trading for oil in US dollars. So yeah, that's, yep. I'm glad you guys know your history. That's really great. 15-hour surgery today. You're as loopy as a hippo on hops. Wow, that's a long one. Fabric, hopefully it was successful. Once off the gold standard, own as much as you want. Your money is worthless. Yep, Godzillionaire, unfortunately. The town your parents moved into after you graduated high school is famous for being a center for building ammunition during World War II. Hey, that's all right. Shipyards turned out entire fleets of aircraft carriers, battleships, destroyers, submarines, and other vessels. Some other examples are the Lionel Toy Train Company started producing items for warships, including compasses. The Ford Motor Company produced B-24 Liberator bombers. Alcoa, the aluminum company, produced airplanes. The Matatuck Manufacturing Company, which had made upholstery nails, switched to making cartridge clips for Springfield rifles. It's amazing what you can retool a factory for. You know, I did not know that the toy train company, the Lionel Toy Train Company, produced items for warships, including compasses. That's crazy. Your school has a basement that is now a repurposed bomb shelter from the Cold War. Ah, yeah. I could see that. There was a double tendon graft, right front leg and left back leg on a cow. Wow, Fabric. You earned your money today, buddy. Wow. The rumor is that Trump is going to do the same thing with gold. Revalue it? What's he going to do, Veritax? Is he going to try to take it away? Yeah, Kool-Aid heads too. By the end of World War II, half of the world's wartime industrial production was in the United States. Of course, it helped that U.S. factories were not bombed like those in the UK and the Soviet Union. To free men to fight, women on the home front took jobs that were previously dominated by men, such as welders, mechanics, and aircraft assembly workers. Yep. More production. She's a swell plane. Give us more. Fabric smoking a cigar lit with a $100 bill today. All of this labor stimulated the economy, which had been in depression with up to 25% unemployment at one point. In 1950, the Defense Production Act was created in response to the outbreak of the Korean War. The act is similar to the War Production Board in that it allows the president to allocate materials for national security. So that happened also for Korean War. So there you go, guys. That's happened there. Let's see if they have anything else about industry. Let's see. I'll check mine. Okay, there we go. Let's try this one. And that's the problem. War stimulates the economy in very predictable ways, so making war makes money for people who are in the know. Yes. It makes money for the military-industrial complex, who like nothing better than to have them all over the place. There we go. Imagine all that gold will be worthless once the game of Duel Monsters created by... Yes, it's time to duel. We've tried to start Forever Wars since... Yeah, I agree, Godzilla. Yep. Too tired to drink or smoke? Your hairless red behind is in bed after this stream? Okay. You've earned it. Let's see what this one's about here. This is called Conquer the Clock. Well, what's going to happen with the gold here? Curious. What did Trump say he was going to do? Somebody fill me in on that.
The clock on the wall. On the 7th day of December 1941, it struck the 11th hour.
Okay, so they're reminding you of Pearl Harbor. Did I see the massive HDD shortage because of all the AI crap? No, I did not, Godzillionaire. Is there a shortage now? Use it hammered at midnight this time.
Will be 0 hours.
Reserve bullion that the U.S. has. Somebody reported that we have been valuing
48 United States
on the open market. It's worth like more.
America,
so I see.
every
Okay.
American has his job to do. and the will to do it, and the tools to do it with. Pray God he also has the time. Time, the most vital natural resource of a country at war. Every tick of the clock is time won or lost. Every 60-minute sweep, every 12-hour tour of those relentless hands is turning out carload lots of time.
Shoveling
for us
coal.
to use ourselves or to give away to the enemy.
Lots of machinery in action. Hard disk drives rising quickly. Suppose Japan is putting limits on orders and massive lead times on shipments. Oh, crazy! I was looking at getting a new portable one as well.
Our machines manufacturing time. The tools that in our hands means victory. Our hands must be as relentless as the hands of our clocks. They cannot afford to be less.
Look at the size of that nut. Jeez.
Sunrise over Republic Steel. High noon at Willow Run. Sunfall on the Electric Boat Company. Midnight at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Dawn to dusk and back to dawn again. 3 8-hour shifts, one day.
Crazy. They're working 24/7. Like I said, they're just going. In Austin, I hear they're asking residents to shower less and save water for the data centers. AI will beat us with BO. I'd tell them to shove it up their ass. You want me to shower less for a stupid data center?
So much
How about don't build the data center?
Americans will keep their sleeves rolled up. Inside of 24 hours, 1/20th of a freighter or a tanker can be built. Within those same
Austin's a
24
cesspool.
hours, a squadron of tanks can roll off the assembly line, and a flight of bombers can be made ready from radio to rudder boat. In one day, 1,000 acres of corn can become 30,000 bushels of food. In one day, one plant unit can turn out enough rifles to equip a battalion of infantry, the men who, in one day, might win a war or lose it.
The funny thing, you think the answer to data center
Well,
cooling
let's
problem is
visit
actually
upstate
geothermal?
at a
Yeah.
factory where
Why don't
make
they do
30
that?
caliber rifle cartridges for the Army. Let's visit Gene.
We'll never see this again. We'll never see all these people working. It's unbelievable, all at once. I looked outside tonight. What's up? How you doing, Michael? Good to see ya. We're just going over some industry during the war to commemorate Remembrance Day. You live really close to DC, and the water demand up there is so bad they might start trying to ask that here. Oh. The thing you don't necessarily mention is all these jobs shown are not something you can just pick up and do in a day or two. They're skills you have months. Yeah, that's true, Godzilla. Yep. Northern Lights will be crazy for 3 days. Okay, so we've got a lot of sun activity then, Michael? If it's a clear night, I can always go have a look too after the stream here. Raining in northwest and cloudy in northwest Minnesota.
One of the girls who inspects these cartridges before they're shipped. She's a good kid, loves her country, and the guy named
And of all the
Joe,
measuring units, you don't know how
he
big
gave
a
her that
bushel
pin
is?
she's wearing before he went to
Not
Australia.
me neither.
She's a good kid.
What's up,
honest,
DJ Ronnie G?
intelligent,
How you doing,
but she
man?
gets tired in the afternoon
We're going over
sometimes.
industry
Like to
during
take
World War
extra time
II.
off for a smoke. That's all. Only a few minutes. A few minutes. It only takes a second to jar the primer out of a cartridge.
She wants to go for a
And it only
smoke,
takes a
eh?
second to put an OK ticket on a lot that should have been rejected.
Oh,
A cartridge without a primer is one that will never fire. It's about as useful in a rifle as a cigarette.
next 2 episodes
or as
dispatch
the
come out
minutes that go
tomorrow.
up in its smoke. One bad cartridge.
Yeah, she just
One
wanted to go
chance
for a
in million
smoke.
to
Now
get
she's
by
ruined it.
undetected. 1 second in 60. One girl out of 100 who is an honest, patriotic, intelligent saboteur.
Wow, labeling her a saboteur. That's pretty... But I guess they wanted to come down hard on people for doing that. .30 caliber?
Yes, Gene is
That sound about right, you guys?
intelligent enough to know that one of these bullets in good condition can travel 3 miles.
There were solar flares
But
from the
she doesn't
sunspots
know
as
that
they
an
were following that
effective
weird
one can
object.
go
They found
halfway
another
around the
comet.
world.
Another comet they didn't know about?
Somewhere
Okay.
in the Pacific, somewhere between the Devil and the Dutch East Indies, is an American scouting patrol.
No. 30 caliber is pretty common. Okay, thanks, Godzilla. I wasn't sure. Got him. Uh-oh. It's that one she didn't check. Oh. The M1 Garand is 30-06. Okay. Oh. So because she didn't do her job, the guy lost his life.
It should have been rejected. It would have been too.
Don't forget, loose lips sink ships even if you're nowhere near a harbor. Anytime, any information can get anywhere. You're sure they're very worried about the naval bases in West Virginia in the mountains?
If a girl named
Bushels
Jean
9
hasn't
gallons
taken time
from the
out to
basket
smoke.
made from the Bushel Company. Oh!
Now meet J.G., general manager of a large
AK-47 is
wholesale food
technically a
house.
30
Makes
cal,
$12,000 a
metric
year.
762.
Worn a white collar
Okay.
all his life. That is, except for the cocky one he wore in 1918. Tried to get in this scrap after Pearl Harbor, but they said his son could handle the fighting orders, and he could go on taking food orders. Like this, 50 cases of 14A1. That's code for lifeboat provisions. Notify Martin. That means ship on Monday. Too old to fight, but not too old to work yourself silly trying to get out orders and priorities on time. Time? Holy mackerel, it's 2:30. I'll have to rush like old Harry to make it. Better tell Mabel where I'll be. Oh, no.
Okay,
Why
762
bother?
roughly
It's
230
Saturday.
caliber.
That lifeboat stuff doesn't go out till Monday. Nothing can come up over the weekend. Besides, I've got an important engagement with a couple of guys. Important engagement with a couple
Uh-oh,
of
he
guys.
left his
A couple
work
of guys
unfinished.
on the home team. Well, they are leading the league, and it's his first Saturday off in 4 months. And there's nothing that can't wait 9 innings. Nothing, that is, except time and tide and convoys. A change in sailing orders and an urgent wire in code. Lifeboat supplies to be shipped at once. Shipped by a man who is busy coaching
It's
at
2:30. I need a smoke and a whiskey break.
Unfortunately,
Well, he's catching the ball
convoy
game.
Can't wait for the last inning. A convoy waits for the tide, and the tide waits for no man. Standing beside a lifeboat, only partly provisioned, 6 American flyers sail for Ireland in convoy on a freighter that falls behind its escort. It's an old story.
Oh, there's the U-boat. Das Boot. Also sounds
6
French. No
men
wonder it's such a
sailed
forgettable
for
picture.
Ireland. 2 of them got there. One of them out of his mind. The other one dead.
Oof.
25 days in a boat provisioned for 10 days. The tide rolls in, J.G., and the clock ticks on. And neither one, in peace or war, will wait for 9 innings.
Yes, das Underwasserboot.
The state of North Australia is 23 time zones away from the state of Michigan. But the clock on the cockpit of the plane over Darwin and the watch on the wrist of the officer in New Guinea are synchronized with the clock at the door of the factory in Detroit and geared to the clock over the water cooler in Kalamazoo. The production rate of our factories and the firing rate of our guns is synchronized by one machine, the clock. This is the machine that manufactures victory, turning out 32.5 million seconds each year. Each separate tick, a precious tool to use in building our future. And you, these are your tools, your hands, and they must be as relentless as the hands of your clocks. If we are to conquer, they cannot afford to be less.
Look at that. It's the weirdest Rolex head ever. Make sure you have your watches synchronized, alright? Look at that. The old welder in there. Damn. That was like a crankshaft for a ship. And the old V for victory, eh? Yep. Get everybody all riled up to do their part out in industry. Music sounds very Soviet. Ooh. I don't think they meant it for it to be like that. But yeah, that's that was a pretty good one. A little bit of shaming, though, for people who wanted to just take time off. They wanted to make sure everybody was working. Check out DJ Ronnie G's new video after the stream ends. Yes, please do, you guys. Check out DJ Ronnie G. I'm just seeing if I got anything left. Or old man brain is kicking in. I can relate to that. You would have expected them to be Timex since they take a licking and keep on ticking. Hey, the old Timexes. One more. This is a presentation of the Kimberly-Clark Corporation, which is still around. There are approximately 6,000 men and women of the Kimberly-Clark Corporation who are responsible for this organization's outstanding war production record. This picture is dedicated. What, B-17? You didn't know Fabric was a bit of an older gentleman? Niagara Falls.
These are the mills.
A couple decades. Yeah, I tell you, I think he
Paper
does.
Mill. Paper mills at war.
Yeah,
These
Fabric's
are
my
the
age,
mills
and
of
his
Kimberly-Clark.
grandchildren are in their early 20s. There you go.
These are the people. Small town people.
Dude, I'm 15. Yep,
People from Main Street.
you've got a couple decades on you.
People at war. These are the people of Kimberly-Clark.
Yeah, it is paper products, I'm pretty sure Kimberly-Clark makes. Now, anyway. You got scars older than that?
These are the people
I've
who
got
put on
clothing older
uniforms
than
to fight. Over 2,000 of them. These are the people who fight by working at home.
The old fart chat. Well, at least we can get together every Tuesday and,
Their
and do
story
that.
of war is a story of wood.
Oh, paper mill, I bet. And turn that wood into paper. Whoa, whoa! I guess that's one way to do it. Right onto the conveyor, eh? Over to the debarker. I know a little bit about sawmills, but not a lot. No wonder you don't get half the stuff we say in chat. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Oh, and look at the dual saws. Okay, cut it into bite-sized pieces. Washing it. Wow. And then turning it into
Their
wood
story of
pulp.
war is one of pulp.
Yep.
Cellulose wadding.
I think they're known for Huggies and Scott toilet tissue and pens and how much other. Oh, maybe.
It's a story as simple as a single sheet of white paper. A single piece of paper that may be destined to carry the most important military dispatch of the war.
His chat has a combined 720
paper.
years of work
By
experience.
the sheet. By the
Yeah,
ton.
there you go. Hey, maybe I should use that as a tagline.
And these are the people who turn it out. Turn out all-important white paper for the Army, the Navy, paper for information, for military management, for messages, paper for books, for pamphlets.
You contribute a lot,
Training our
B17.
fighting men.
When you ask the questions, that's a good
Yes, even for
contribution.
road signs in liberated countries.
Because how do you know if you don't ask questions? You get to hang out with us. Wrapping up paper bundles in paper, it looks like. Oh, there you go.
White paper made on machines.
Freaking heavy rolls, too.
White paper counted by hand, carefully, quickly.
Okay, that's crazy.
Women at war. Women in production service. Mobilized
You
into a
contribute
single
playing video
unit with a
perspective from
single
after the turn of the
purpose.
century.
Doing
All right, David,
they
thanks for
can
hanging out,
to
man.
supply the vital needs
Have
of
yourself a
people
great
at
day.
war abroad
Great night,
and people at home.
and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Vital needs from wood
Look at
pulp.
this.
Kleenex, for instance, a cellulose wadding product, going to the armed services in an endless stream, and going too in large amounts to civilians.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty wet wood pulp there. You're the window to the future for us. You are the future. When years from now, B17, years from now, you can think to yourself, man, I was in the chat with all those old guys. We used to have a great time on Trace Talk. Marine's got to poop. Yep,
More,
that's right, DJ.
more, and more Kleenex for war.
There you go, Kleenex. Kleenex is a brand name.
Paper mills, war. It does sound a little strange. And yet,
What are you doing? Are they
here's
chopping
wood
it up in
pulp
there?
will eventually be made into Kimsol. Kimsol,
What is
a
that?
wadding material for the comfort of people at war. To help keep
Kimsol.
soldiers cool in the tropics and warm in the
Is
Arctic.
it like insulation?
Kimsol,
With all those old
1200
guys.
feet of
Yep.
it every minute. Great rolls of it for Army Quonset huts and other war housing needs.
Can you imagine how bad the paper mill smelled? Oh, I bet. Yeah. Well, the bleach they would use. And then all the other chemicals. I don't even know. I've never worked in a paper mill. But I'm sure there's really harsh stuff they would use.
Layer after layer of it, stitched, and compressed.
Too nice to you to call us that? We appreciate it. Is Kimsel just a fancy name for asbestos? Well, they don't mention asbestos
and
by name.
packed for shipment overseas. These are the people who make it carefully.
Hey,
make it
safety
well.
glasses. Wow.
These are people at war.
Kimsel sounds
From
close
the
enough to
same
cancer
wood
to be
pulp
called
that goes into
asbestos.
the making of Kimsol,
Yeah, I guess so.
another
I'd have to
equally
look it up
important
and see what
product of war is
Kimsel
made.
actually is.
Kimpack.
Oh, Kimpack.
Kimpack in rolls, in sheets,
You've worked
In
at 28 paper mills? Oh,
back,
well, maybe you'd know,
or
Michael.
run back.
I don't know if you... What
or thin.
kind of chemicals are they using?
Kimpack. A crepe cellulose wadding for protecting such precious cargoes in transit
Okay, so it's
as
packing
instruments,
material.
which may be injured by a slide jar.
There you go.
Delicate aircraft instruments. Fragile war
They used to have a
material
pulp mill from Fremont,
of all
Canada.
kinds.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the Kimpack these workers turn out often may make the difference. The simple difference between success and failure.
So I used to, when I
Of a
lived on the
bomber's
coast, I would
mission.
drive by.
Remember
would
the
drive
old
by
saying,
one on,
for want of a nail, the shoe was lost.
Where was it?
Well,
Howe Sound?
For the want of packing.
And yeah, you could
a
see there's
bomber
even the
may be
water
lost.
looked a different color. I think they were dumping stuff in there.
It takes people at machines, and it takes men to keep machines going in a paper mill at war.
Oh,
Maintenance men. Maintenance men who also make war
maintenance
products.
men.
The heavy-duty cargo winch, for example.
Look at that.
Yes, and it takes power, too. Lots of it.
Hydroelectric power?
And men to turn out that power.
Oh, bleach and
And
white
along
liquor?
with the
Oh,
men and women at
Yeah.
beaters, strippers, trimmers, and paper machines. Along
Used
with
to
the
drive by your
maintenance
county's
men and the
crematorium.
men in the
Ooh,
powerhouses
yeah.
are the men of the War Products Division.
digesters smell terrible.
department.
Yeah, I bet.
But a group of Kimberly-Clark men from different mills. Chemists, physicists, laboratory technicians, and field engineers.
Kimsel.
Fighters? Yes, indeed. These are the men who developed Kimsol and Kimpack, who also took the resin scrap of another war products manufacturer and developed Kimpreg.
You've worked at the
Kimbrag,
Howe Sound Pulp Mill
A
16.
paper
Okay,
for servicing
Michael, all right.
selected
Yep.
war materials to make them stronger, more durable, more efficient, and from the
Just
same
weird.
resin
That's
scrap.
what- oh, it smells like crap.
The War Products Division men developed Casolite, a laminating and molding paper.
Casolite?
Paper. Paper to replace steel, aluminum, synthetic resin, and other critical materials in war products.
No way. A TV tray?
Casotex, another War Products Division paper development. Casotex, to replace precious rubber and fabrics.
Crazy.
Casotex for use in expendable
Oh, him
war
and Kitimat
items
were the
that
worst?
must be
I bet.
leak-proof, that must last. New ideas, new products from pulp. New uses for these products. That's the story of the War Products Division. Engineering and structural men. These are the men who share a large dramatic part of the overall story of
You hear that,
Kimberly-Clark
Godzilla? Engineering.
at war. For these are the men who performed a production miracle, who converted a mill from making a product of peace in paper to making an intricate product of war in metal. A big job? Difficulties? Problems? Yes. And these are the men who licked them. In 7 fast-moving months, these men turned blueprints into Maxim machine gun mounts,
Oh, wow.
transformed a wallpaper mill into an ordnance assembly plant, one of the amazing production conversions of this war. In 7 months, these men brought together 120 subcontractors.
Strippers, now we're talking.
5,000 people in 8
Kitimat
different
and Powell
states.
River are shut down now because South American paper costs pennies on the dollar in comparison.
More
to
than
Oh.
1,900 parts are needed to make a gun mount.
Yeah, we can't compete with that.
1,900 parts. Each one carefully stamped or machined. Some to tolerances as close as 1/7 the width of a human hair. 120 different subcontractors in 8 states, supplying over 1,900 different parts, planned, worked out, and supervised by Kimberly-Clark engineering and structural men. 1,900 parts brought together and assembled in a wallpaper mill. And these are the
From
people
wallpaper
who do
to
it.
assembling weapons.
Old, experienced hands. New, learning hands. Willing hands. Important hands.
Oh, it looks like a Rockwell hardness test. Look
Yes,
at that one.
these are the hands of people at war. Paper mill people, making a machine gun mount.
Oh, it's got some gears on there, it looks like. Lots of assembly going on. Definitely need good dexterity.
A multiple gun anti-aircraft weapon. A fighting unit designed to fire so rapidly it can bring down a low-level bomber flying at a speed of 300 to 400 miles per hour.
Oof.
And to the Kimlark Ordnance Plant goes the coveted Army-Navy E Award, representing a nation's gratitude and recognition of its production efforts on the Maxim gun mount. The E pennant, truly a fitting reward to Kimberly-Clark and its people for the work and loyalty.
And they're still around
demonstrated in
today.
this
Kimberly Clark.
people, small town people, Main Street people, receiving the Armed Services' highest honor for outstanding production of necessary war material. Yes, these are the people who fight the war of production, whose unity, tireless energy, unselfish devotion have written and are continuing to write the glowing story of Kimberly-Clark at war. Paper mills at war. Paper mills whose all-out effort for victory today points toward the promise of a greater tomorrow. A tomorrow of happiness. A tomorrow of prosperity. A tomorrow of lasting peace.
There you are. There's the workers at the paper mill. Used to make wallpaper, and now they were making ordnance and such. That's crazy. But it had to be done. All right. Well, you do like a woman with deft fingers. Yes, I bet. Well, I believe that's it for me, fellas. Yeah. I watched our ceremony today in Ottawa, and I saw them putting the wreaths by the cenotaph. Yeah, very, very solemn occasion. And, knowing that those soldiers were fighting for, democracy and to beat back the totalitarian regimes, all the oppression and all that. And I'm kind of sad that they've almost fought for almost no reason now because of the way the world is. It's terrible. The Westerner countries are turning into communist countries, and all this freedom we've had and we've taken for granted is going to go away because the governments are going to be emboldened and oppress us even more. So I'm sad to say that they must have, all this fighting was for just a little bit of peace that didn't last. We're going down the wrong road. We need to course correct and do something different. We can't let them all have perished for nothing. You wish you legally could. You got to live through the aftermath of this crap. Yeah, well, so do we. You see the old timer in the UK go on the BBC and say the fight wasn't worth it based on what this country's become. It was heartbreaking. Yeah, I bet it was, Godzillionaire. Kimberly Clark's still around. You bet they are. At least last I saw, they were still around. Kimberly Clark. Yeah, Huggies, Kleenex, Depend, Professional, Kotex, Poise, Kotex, Cottonelle, Plenitude, Good Nights, Scott, Viva, Andrex, Intimus, Pull Up, and Thinks. So they're still there. But, yeah, Kimberly Clark's still there. That's fine. These guys here, don't forget these guys. Don't forget these, the soldiers, the veterans, the guys that put their lives on the line. And look what's come of it. This is ridiculous that our world is turning out this way. We got to do something to reverse course and not end up everything that they fought against, which is kind of ridiculous. We need some leaders that have some common sense in their heads and to stop oppressing all the people. You saw that? Oh, check the comments in my Sunday video on YouTube. You put the full dispatch walkthrough there. Oh, okay. Thanks, Fabric. Yeah, so, and it's not just in November. We should be thankful, every time, because we shouldn't just remember our veterans on one day in November. We should remember them all the time, because they're the ones that have it so that we can live the way we do. Right? You can say dumb things. You can criticize the government. You can spend your money however you want. You can work wherever you want. In those other countries, you can't do that. If you were in Soviet Russia, or if you were in Germany at the time, or Italy, you couldn't move around and switch jobs. You had to stay what you were doing. In communist China, you can't just quit your job and go do something else. The state runs everything. You can't criticize them or they come and get you. Remember Tiananmen Square in 1989 in China. There's Chinese people that don't even know that happened. The government covered it up so well. And they just came in and decimated everybody that was protesting, all those students. So I don't want a government like that. And I hope we can have some return or semblance of sanity, because it's infuriating that they're letting things go so far, and people that are breaking the law can get away with it with zero consequences, and it's just absolutely idiotic what's happening. Dispatch is a fun game, just don't stream it unless you want a shadow ban. Roger that, Godzillionaire. It's wild, and denial of it today is even wilder. Yeah, 100% DJ. You can talk to people that come from China to here and ask them about Tiananmen Square, and they'll be like, what are you talking about? I want to see a return to people being tough like these guys were. These soldiers and the people back in World War II, they were tough. They weren't namby-pamby weaklings. You know, they went out there, they packed those guns, they marched into certain death. They didn't argue and ask to see the manager. They just had a job to do and they did it. The tour guide over there. Nothing happened here. Nothing to see. Keep moving along. But yeah, there's some good videos to watch on the National Film Board of Canada website. It's nfb.ca if you're interested. More than just this war stuff. There's all sorts of stuff if you want to learn about Canada and all that. But National Film Board, they've got quite a good repository. The Internet Archive as well is a good repository for stuff like that. So it's good to take a look around once in a while and not just follow the latest TikTok dance or anything like that. Look back in history. History is very important. If you don't learn from history, you're bound to repeat the mistakes. And I don't see a lot of people looking back at history very much. It's something you have to study and see what happened. Canada has internets? Yeah, it's, we got 2 coconuts and a string on there, and it works really well. Pacific 414 just ended a stream about letters from Iwo Jima and flags of... Oh, nice! Yeah, good job for Mike doing that kind of stuff. In most countries, you do what your father did. Yeah, 100% Fabric. I've heard that. All right, fellas. That'll be the stream for tonight. It was nice doing something a little bit different, and I'm glad we got to talk about and look at historical movies from the time about industry and how they were going all out for production and all the different machinery they used and how you converted one factory that's making something completely different to something to build anything for the war effort. Doesn't Dispatch have a censorship toggle? I've seen YouTubers with it on. Don't forget, some YouTubers are more special than others. I don't know how some of them get away with stuff that they do, but if I did that, I'd be kicked. So I'm not too crazy about getting kicked. DJ, you're going to look the game up? Right on. Anyways, good chat tonight, fellas. I really appreciate you coming by. You guys were great. I'd like to thank people like David Glenn, who I had to leave though, B17, Godzillionaire, Veritax, Fabric Folds, of course. Michael was here. Good old Vancouver Island Michael. And who else? DJ Ronnie G. Of course, DJ. Pacific 4 stream Dispatch. You totally saw one of the characters procreate. Ooh. Anyways, guys, if you can do me a favor, if you're on YouTube, hit that like button. If you're on any of the other platforms, hit the follow or whatever it happens to be. And it really helps me out here. I can't believe I'm up to 62 followers on Kick. You believe that? It surprised me the other day when I saw that. It's like, oh, I didn't think that many people watch me over on Kick, but okay. Same with Rumble. I'm slowly growing with people on Rumble. I never see them in the chat though, so. And Twitch, of course. Twitch, I'm almost up to 25 people. Slowly working on it. But yeah, don't forget, guys, spread the word, tell your friends, let them know what Pop's here. And when I'm not streaming, you can visit people like Pacific 4 and 4 and DJ Ronnie G. Go watch that video that David put up of DJ Ronnie G's got out. And you can go visit Brandon the Anime Guy, usually on Saturday mornings, for his anime show. Carl at RNG Podcast. There's also Angry Canadian. You can take a visit to Punkwaddle, who always has some great penguin positivity. Infinite Metal, who's on Kick and Twitch. And don't forget Call Me Kixie, the VTuber. She's on Twitch as well. She's a fun streamer. Coming up, Saturday, Retro Game Day. I am working hard to get to that last boss on Oracle of Ages. I got to do this. I'm very excited to start a new game, so I want to get through this game, get through the last boss, and then get to a new game. So hopefully I can do that this Saturday. After that is Sunday. Sunday Anime Chat will be the theme of sports anime. Come on out, throw your cleats on, and let's see what what some of the good sports animes are. See if any of them grab you and make you want to watch them. And then after that, it's Tuesday. It'll be Tuesday again and Trades Talk. And now that I've had a nice long 4-day weekend, I have to head back to work, and I'll try to we'll get back to the regular thing of checking out what's going on in the industry and showing you some pictures and videos of what I've been working on. So I hope to see you guys there. Hey, no problem, Fabric. I'm glad to bring the stream to you guys. You didn't have time to celebrate today, but hey, I am more than happy to keep streaming. I enjoy you guys coming by and us having a nice chat. We get to have a good old time, reflect on a few things, and hopefully you learn a few things. If I can bring some knowledge and such to you guys about the trades or anything like that, or anything you want to know about Canada and everything like that, I'm more than happy to. It's great to get to know you guys too. But that'll be it for me tonight, fellas. I'm going to be heading off, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and I hope to see you guys on the weekend. Until then, I've been Pop, and I am signing off.